not doing the right things defensively, not attaching themselves.
Why?
Not enough talking. It's hard to put your finger on. You know, like Mo said before the game, you know, they were in the hunt for 4 trophies last year. They've pulled up trees. They've been superhuman for the last few years. So to put your finger on it this year, it's been hard, but it's been miles off what they were last year.
They look like a team that's run out of steam. Physicality was one of the biggest parts of their game in the successful period. Being able to outrun teams, overpower teams over the course of the whole season. They were great at that. Add to that a tactical nous and how to pressurise teams and put them under the cosh in forward areas. Now they're not doing that. The team just looks exposed and open and at times lacklustre in the way that they defend, especially in transitions, individually 1v1 duels. They're not winning like they used to. So you put all that together, you get results like we've seen this season and inconsistencies. And it's strange to see because how great this team have been over the last few years.
Yeah, you could literally list 6, 7, 8 things that Liverpool don't do now that they did do in previous seasons. And it starts from the front. I think Liverpool are half the team at pressing now. And that understanding between Firmino, Mane and you know, they always knew there were bits and pieces going to be dropping forward.
And they were athletic enough.
They were, and at the back, they never, you know, they hardly got tested. Now, because the chain, you know, reaction is now they're getting exposed so many times at the back, and now the gaps and the gaps are starting to widen and appear. So there's so many different things that you could point your finger at the moment, but you know, as I said before the game, there's so many positives in this squad. This group of players, that manager, the ownership, everything about this club has been successful for years and years. So they know the formula to win. They've just got to get back to it, which is not easy.
It's difficult, I know, but
you can't rip everything up and start. I mean, this team has done it.
I think it's difficult. I think it's difficult when you look at this team. Is like, I think it's back to basics as well sometimes. Like, what were you good at? The intensity in this team was huge. When I look at them when they defend now, the intensity is not there. Whether we're talking about forward players, the way they're defending in this team compared to previous years, or to the defenders who were even there in that good time, or to the defenders who were even there in that good time, they're not defending like they was before. The intensity in transitions, in turnovers, in when players face them at 1v1, I don't see the authority or the confidence now. And you can lose confidence, I know that. But over the long period of time we're seeing, and it's rearing its head week after week now. We saw it against Bournemouth at the weekend. We see it again tonight.
But the United game, we thought it was clicking. You know, the front three, we thought it was clicking on the front foot.
But then before that, we hadn't seen it.
Yeah, I know. It's such a strange one.
So what needs to change then? You know, because the Liverpool fans are judging Liverpool quite rightly based on the last few seasons on Champions League trophies and Premier League trophies and lifting silverware.
Replenish the squad.
How much of a replenishment then is required for this squad?
The difference is, I think that they've bought players in the last couple of windows. They've bought players, Gakpo, Diaz, to name 2, Jota. Yeah. They're players that aren't coming in to start immediately and change the dynamic of that first 11 immediately. They're players that are they need time to build themselves into the first team and to become regulars at some point. Neither 3 of them are regulars in the first team. As you go the outstanding players. Yeah. Top teams, it's hard to, when you're transitioning a team, it's hard to just do, we're going to bring in like a few squad players to come push this team on again. You need a couple of players to go, bang, that's another player that's going to raise the standard of the starting 11.
I don't think they've ever done that, though. I always think they've bought players, like even when they signed Mane, even when they signed Salah.
That's when they was on the way up.
Yeah, but they have to get back to that. I don't feel like they're ever going to go out and spend 100 million on a top player. I don't. You know, Jude Bellingham is a player. Yeah, of course you'd love to have, but I don't think they'll ever do that. I think they always had players on the rise and players that. It wasn't well touted. I mean, no one was willing to pay that big money for them.
And what impact does this form have on, let's say you're Jude Bellingham, for example, right? Hypothetically, he's watching Liverpool, and that's an option for him. Does he make the decision based on what they've done before, or does he make the decision based on what he's seen in the last 6 months?
Well, that's the worry, isn't it? That's the worry at the moment, is that, you know, you're hanging your hat on maybe 1 or 2 additions to freshen it all up, let's say. But the worry is that if Liverpool don't get in the Champions League, then it's not as an exciting proposition. If they don't get in the Champions League, they probably won't have the money to go and do it. We all know that Liverpool isn't awash with money. So, you know, I know there's a kitty there probably to go for a Bellingham for 100 million, maybe a little bit more, let's say. But if they don't get in the Champions League, then it's going to put a little bit more pressure on the purse strings. I don't believe that it's right to just go and buy a load of players. As I say, this team have proven.
What would you go and get then? A couple of midfielders? Is that what?
I would try to. I'd burst the bank for Bellingham, and I fear that will be about it. I mean, there may be other players that come in.
I don't agree, Mo. Sorry, I don't. I just think that's all right doing that and building like players that are going to come in and that they're going to push a team on a little bit here and there on your way up. When you get to the top, Man City ain't going out and buying a little squad filler. They're buying Haaland.
Yeah, and Liverpool will go and buy Bellingham.
But
they haven't done that yet.
No, but
they've not proven they can do that.
They've got a history of doing that. They went and got Van Dijk when they needed a centre-half. Get the best in the world.
That's the way on the way up. We're talking in recent seasons, the last couple of seasons now, few windows we've seen. They haven't bought players that come in and change the first 11.
Yeah, but you find them. You find who's better than Mo Salah and Who's better than Mane?
No,
Liverpool had an aging attack.
That's a different thing.
They had three players with 30 odd.
Midfield we're talking about is an area where everyone in the Liverpool fan base is saying that's an area we need for the last 2 years.
And do you think Jurgen Klopp's stupid?
No, I don't.
He's going to absolutely do that. If there was a transfer window now, he'd be going, let me do it. He's desperate to do it.
They haven't got the money of Man City, have they? They've got the money, but what they've been able to do is compete at the level of Man City with no...
Are they going to go and buy squad fillers like they're doing? Because that doesn't seem to be working.
I don't think they are doing that. I mean, the recent players they've bought, they've had three players that are approaching 30. Mane, Firmino and Salah. Everybody can see it's coming. Jurgen Klopp can see it's coming. It's right, OK, before it hits us square in the face, we've got to start bringing some youngsters in. So they've kept Salah. Mane was going to go anyway. He wanted to go the year before. Liverpool did really well to keep him an extra year. So he was going anyway. Firmino's now going in the summer. And they've, in Jota, in Diaz, in Nunez, they've actually refreshed that part of the pitch. So that's for the future. That's hopefully now signed off. Right, for the next 6-7 years, that part's done.
The important word's future. We're here talking about now.
Absolutely. And the now is the next transfer. You can't get Bellingham at Christmas, Rio. You know that.
No, I'm not. But the window before, I'm talking even in the summer's just gone. Like, you think like, you're going to get...
You know that.
No, I'm not. But the window before, I'm talking even in the summer's just gone. Like, you think like, you're going to get a player that's going to come in and go, right, take on the mantle, either in midfield or even forward, wherever it is. There's got to be sometimes a signature player that you go...
But they wanted Bellingham. They wanted Bellingham, but Man City bought Haaland. So Dortmund were never, ever going to let Liverpool buy Bellingham.
There's a world of players. There's a massive world of players.
But then you're dropping down to players that you don't... That you want Bellingham. So and he kept his powder dry. He thought, right, no, I'll wait a year and I'll just get him next summer.
If Liverpool get Bellingham, they're like Stevie, yourselves have had to have run the channel to get him. Swam the channel to get this guy.
But
What, you don't think that can happen?
I just think that even if he watches that tonight, he's sitting there thinking, if Real Madrid are in for me and Liverpool, there's only one place I can go. And they don't finish Champions League as well, maybe. As a player, I just think nothing to do with my allegiances to United or Liverpool. I just think as a player, you look at it cold and you go, I see more trophies here.
That might be the case.
I don't disagree with that either. I don't disagree with it. You know, it's been a right option for him.
All right, interesting stuff. Listen, if you're listening to this debate and you're thinking, I want to get involved in it, then we would love you to. We're live till 11:30 this evening. Use the hashtag UCL tonight. We're going to be live for the next hour and a little bit. So make sure you're joining the conversation. Whether you're a Liverpool fan, whoever you're supporting in the quarterfinals of the Champions League this season, we want to hear from you. And after the break, we want to hear from him. Jurgen Klopp will be speaking to us and sharing his thoughts about defeat in Madrid and a big defeat over two legs. See you shortly.
The Premier League is back, bigger and better. Get an in-depth analysis of all the actions, post-March interviews, and press conferences. Enjoy tactical analysis from the best in the game. Rio Ferdinand, Ian Wright, Roy Keane, Joe Cole, Gary Neville, and many more. Enjoy extended highlights from the Premier League, UEFA Champions League, the Europa Conference League, and the FA Cup. Be entertained with the latest news on your favorite English clubs, as well as transfer news and breaking news. Get all this for absolutely free. Join us today. Hit the subscribe button now.
I guess you could argue they've got 12 cup finals to come, haven't they?
Yeah, and look at those games, they're difficult games. I think, after the United match, you felt that they were in pole position for top four, but now you look at those fixtures and they're for top four, but now you look at those fixtures and they're tough games. Tottenham are there and Newcastle. I think Brighton aren't too far away as well. So it's going to be a big fight to the end of the season.
Yeah, we can see the way it sits at the moment. I mean, they're 6 points behind Tottenham. They've got Newcastle and Brighton either side of them, both with a game in hand. I mean, this is going to be a proper fight for the top four for them.
It is, yeah. And as Crouchy just said, it's worrying. The next few games, could make or break Liverpool's end of the season. The next 3 games are very tough. I mean, playing Tottenham is a good thing. Obviously, they're one of the teams that they need to catch. But they need to get through the next 2 or 3 games unscathed. Otherwise, it could be an uphill climb, let's say.
Football's a crazy game, though, isn't it? They beat Man United 7-0, and the place just gets turned upside down. And the fortunes at Anfield have changed dramatically. And they're now a team back on the ascendant. And you roll on a week, and it seems like it's quite morbid around the place. A 1-0 defeat against Bournemouth in the league. And then obviously go to the Bernabeu and get beat here. And they're going to bounce into those games or limp into those next 3 games against big teams who are all fighting for things as well. Very difficult. Them 3 games will define what's going to happen for the rest of the season. If they don't get any positivity out of those 3 games, it's going to be a very dour season for Liverpool.
We've spoken a lot about the players. What will this period be like for Jurgen Klopp? He was honest there by just saying we tried to put on a special performance and we didn't. But how many times in the last few years have we said we need a special performance from Liverpool and we saw one? I wonder how much he sort of questions the work that he's doing at the moment.
Yeah, I'm sure he is, and I'm sure this is probably the hardest. It's been so right for so many years now. I mean, what Liverpool have produced over the last half dozen seasons has been unbelievable. And it was only a few months ago that we were talking, as I mentioned earlier, 2 games away from, the most incredible season ever. So they're not miles away from it. Yes, it might appear so. Yes, they're up and down in terms of performances, but they've still got the same managers, still got the same owners, still got the same players. They just need to find that magic again. It's in there. It's in there. We've seen it, but it's going to be hard to try to really. But they have done it before. As I say, the COVID season, they had a really poor season and bounced back.
I just wonder, though, whether the time is changing now in the Premier League. Manchester United are about to, we believe, have a big injection of cash with new owners coming in. Manchester City remain one of the richest clubs in the world. Newcastle United suddenly have got an influx of cash. Arsenal may well win the Premier League and
Klopp's
spend
always
big.
said that. He's always alluded to that point about that. It's definitely something we sympathise with him about, but he's fought to get himself this far. Liverpool maybe need to change tact with the way they approach the windows. I don't know. It's not an easy kind of nut to crack, but they're going to have to go some to kind of change the fortunes.
One thing he's got is grace, and he's got time.
Yeah.
For what he's achieved at the football club, he's got as long as he wants.
Absolutely, and we've got time as well. Another hour. You can join us and stick around if you like.
I'm fine, mate. I'll leave you to it. I'll be watching, though.
Will you? Ooh, is that a threat? Thanks for your company, everybody. We are going to be live until 11:30 this evening with Champions League tonight. Please